Hi friend, if you're watching this, that means you got your Seint makeup in the mail or it is on the way to you. So I'm going to give you an in-depth tutorial on how to use this palette. So a little different than my fast reels that you'll see on social media. This one will be a little bit longer. So when you get your package in the mail, you'll actually get your palette will be empty and the little tins will come separately in a little bag with a lid, which my son has collected all the lids and they're all scattered throughout the house. So you don't need to keep the lids, but it does come with a little lid. And then the shade is on the back if you ever forget like what your shade is. So then and it's magnetic. So when you get your palette, you'll just go in and organize all of your shades. I have literally dog hair all over mine. And then I have my bronzer, contour, and my blush on the other side of the palette. Brushes. So brushes is a preference. I'm actually going to show you guys two different ways to apply the makeup, one on the right side, one on the left side, and you'll kind of find a routine that works better for you. It might be the same as mine, but it might be a little bit different. So if the first time you apply it, you're like, I don't know about this, try maybe a different technique until you kind of figure out the routine for you. Also, when you first get in your cream, you are going to have to kind of work it a little bit just because of the design of it. And it also is designed that you don't need a primer, but you can use a primer with it. Just make sure that the primer doesn't have dimethicone, which I can never say that, or silicones, because then it will literally, the cream will wash right off your face. So my skin prep with this cream makeup that I have been loving is Revival Antioxidant Serum. This is actually a skincare serum, but it gives a nice glow to the skin and it goes really well underneath the cream foundation. But on this video, I'm actually going to try the prep mist. So this has hyaluronic acid and caffeine. It's a prep, so you spray it on your face before you apply the makeup. You spray it on after your makeup to set it, and then you can spritz it on all throughout the day to give a nice hydrated boost. So this is Seint's Plush Prep Mist. So we're going to try this out today. And hopefully I didn't forget anything. And the brushes I have the 3D brush and the detail brush. And then I might use this brush from Dibs. So we'll see. Okay, this is what I have been using. And then for concealer, the highlight, I've been using the House Labs is what I was using before I got the brushes. All right, let's get right into it. I'm gonna shake this up. I actually already have this on. Creature of Habit, I put this on. I intended to just use this to see how it works, but as my phone was charging up a little bit, I just put this on because that's what I always do. Okay, so shake it up. Gonna work the pump. Circular motion. Ooh, look at the glow already. We'll see. I'm gonna just dry this down a little bit because of my bangs, and I probably should have grabbed a clip for my bangs. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys this side first. So there's a couple of ways you could do it. You can go in, which was what I did when I first started using this. I just used my finger to place the product where I want it. So you have highlight. So Seint's, it's called highlight. So you have your main highlight, which is your foundation, and then you have your highlight, your lightest highlight, which is your concealer. So they're all called highlight. I did grab 3 just because if I get a little bit tan in this summer, if I get a little bit of sun, I have a slightly darker one, but you can always mix them. So if your main shade needs to lighten up a little bit, you can dab on both sides. If you want to darken it a little bit, you can dab on both. So you can actually mix them and they mix really well together, but cream makeup is very versatile. So it works, one shade could work on multiple skin. Okay, so let's go in first with our darker shade. So contour is going to be more cool tones, which if you want to place it like your contour first so that you don't forget, I have my contour and then my bronzer. So I start with the darker shade. This is an option, and I'm going to grab my detailed brush and grab the contour side. So when you first get your cream, remember you kind of have to work it through a little bit. So you just want to kind of dab it like that. Okay, and you can always dab a little bit, so I'm going to keep dabbing on the back of your hand if you're afraid that you're going to apply too much, but creams are very forgiving. So we're going to do the darkest first. Contour goes where you want to create shadow. So if you have a large forehead, you're gonna actually bring the contour down a little bit further. If you have a small forehead, you don't need a lot of contour. You can really just contour right along your hairline, okay? And then I'm gonna dab a little bit more. And I'm gonna go top of my ear and angle it towards my lip. I'm not gonna go that far. Don't go past like your pupil, okay? You don't wanna go that far. And then anything left over, I do kind of just add right underneath my chin to create a shadow, especially since I'm pregnant and I'm starting to look fluffy. So I just do a little bit under there. Okay, so darkest first. Then the other side, same contour. You contour your nose. This is not everybody needs to contour their nose, but if you want to make your nose look slimmer, then you just bring that up to your eyebrow. Okay, and then don't forget this step. Everybody does this step, the juicy lip. So I'm dabbing again, and you're going to go underneath your lip to create a shadow, so your lip will look fuller. Okay, so I'm just doing this one side to show you guys how I kind of did it at the beginning. Then I'm going to go back to my highlight shade and use my 3D brush, and I'm going to use the cone side. I'm going to grab my main highlight shade, and again, I'm going to dab. And this you're going to put kind of on your, everywhere that you didn't put the contour, and don't put it where you would put concealer. Okay, and then I'm going to dab a little bit, and a little tiny bit of this does go a long way, which as you start messing with the makeup, you'll be able to be like, okay, I used too much, or I can use more. So you're just going to play around with it. Okay, and then I'm going to use the same cone and do my lighter highlight shade in Linen. This is going to give a really good pop. So they're called highlight because they highlight and accentuate the parts of your face to kind of brighten and make you look younger. So I pop this in the inner corner, and then on the outer corner, I bring it out. And I was actually really surprised at how good this cream looks under my eyes. Like, it does not cake. It looks super, super just like hydrated. And then I'm gonna bring some of this up over my lid too. You can also highlight your chin. You can highlight with the lightest shade. You can highlight down the bridge of your nose and then down the center. Like I said, just bringing those parts out, contour, chiseling, and bringing it in. That's why this is called 3D makeup too, because it really does transform your face. And at first too, when you don't blend it out, at first it's like, oh my gosh, but then once you blend it, it just like melts into your skin, and it looks so good. So this, we're gonna just keep going with this side of my face. So now I'm gonna take this other side and just start blending everything. And I'm just pressing it in. We're not swirling. The only thing we swirl is the bronzer, which I will show you guys. So I'm just pressing this in everywhere. Using a really good mirror over here so I can make sure that it all gets blended. Okay, and then I'm actually gonna grab my dibs just so I don't mix those two brushes, and I'm gonna press my contour in, and I'm pressing it right where I want it to be. That's why we don't want to swirl it around, because I don't want it to get too high, and you definitely don't want it to get too low, because it'll make your face slough down. Okay, and then pressing it up and through my hairline. And again, if you apply it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is too much, you can even just kind of take your finger and wipe it off. Or if you feel like you got too much, you could take your highlight shade or your foundation shade and just kind of go over it a little bit if you feel like it's too much. And then you'll know for next time, if it looks like it's too much, to dab it in the cream, dab it on the back of your hand to get just a little bit of it off. And then you can use the back of your hand to slowly apply it. Okay, so there's so many different ways that you can do this, but it was designed to make it easy just for the everyday mama. Okay, so that's that. So now we're gonna go in with our bronzer. So don't be afraid of the bronzer. I actually think mine is Bella. The bronzer, now you can swirl the bronzer around, and I feel like the bronzer is really what makes the look. So this is gonna give you a nice sun-kissed look. So I've never tried that brush though. I don't wanna use that one. So let's just stick with what I was using, okay? So I'm gonna go in, I'm just gonna dab a couple dabs in the bronzer. The bronzer goes right below the contour, right above, and you can just kind of start swirling. This is where you can swirl it. You can swirl the bronzer. Bronzer goes on the tip of the nose. I forgot to blend out my contour, so bronzer goes on the tip. This is where the sun hits. So if you didn't put highlight there, you can bronze right there. You can bronze your chin, you can put blush on your chin, and then bronze your neck. Okay, now blush. I need to buy more blushes. I am a blush girly, so I have been mixing Madrid with pink grapefruit. I still, after using this for a few weeks, I'm still using my fingers, so I like to warm it up with my fingers, high point, other finger, pink, a little bit of pink grapefruit. And then this is lip and cheek, so the leftovers, I just mix the two on my lips. Okay. Let's use this brush. Press it in. I like to bring either the bronzer or the blush on my lid when I'm in like a hurry. So this gives a monochromatic look. And all these colors and everything, it just blends together so beautifully. And I'm really liking this mist, by the way, looking in this mirror. And blush, you can keep it just on the high points, or you can bring it around to the cheeks. This will give a fuller look. If you want more of a facelift, just keep the blush up through here. And then if you want to add a little bit more, you can dippy dab, but you always want to be dabbing it. Unless it's the bronzer, then you can swirl it, and you can add it onto your nose, to your chin. I do like a lot of blush. Okay, so that is, I would say, kind of like a little bit slower. If you want it to go a little, like if you're in a hurry and you want it to be really quick, you can apply everything all at once. Whoops, and then you'll just blend it out. So how I did the blush separately and the bronzer separately. If you are in a hurry, what I would recommend, which I would have to do it without talking. So this is what I do if I'm in a hurry. Main highlight. Concealer highlights, the lightest highlight. Blush, just with if I'm in a hurry, I'm just dabbing side to side. And I'm gonna blend it all in. Usually if you're doing this, you wanna do the lightest to the darkest if you're using the same brush. I'm still dabbing. So even if you're in a hurry and you're kind of just using the same brush to blend everything, I mean, it still looks so pretty. And if you're like, nope, I need a little bit more blush, add your blush. And on a really quick day, I don't even use the bronzer. I would just go more simple. So see how simple that side looks. This one has a little bit more because of the bronzer. I did kind of more slower, like step by step. But you can get as natural or as bold as you want. Okay, so they're so it's amazing. I'm just so impressed with this makeup. And you can even use the blush all on its own too if you're in a hurry. But Seint has illuminators, which I haven't tried yet, that I would love to try. Eyeshadows. Okay, and if you want to add the bronzer, you can. Like I said, dab it on the back if you don't want to use too much. And just add some color. Now I'm gonna actually have a doctor's appointment, so I gotta try to even this out a little bit. Okay, and even with the prep mist, you can actually spritz it throughout. Like if you put all of the cream on your face before you blend it out, you can spritz this on. I'm gonna spritz it again. It's actually a mist, not a spray. I need more blush over here. Don't forget to blend this out. I had forgotten, and it looks like you ate a bunch of chocolate. So don't forget to blend out your juicy lip. So I did actually enjoy the Dibs brush for the bronzer. But maybe we might grab one more brush from Seint. So definitely loved the detail brush for contouring. And it has such a good density to it as well, which makes sense because it's designed to work with the cream, and not all brushes are created equal. And then the 3D brush for blush and the main highlight shade. This actually also, I thought this would be way too fluffy for blush, but I'm like so picky when it comes to my blush brushes. This worked really, really well, or the Dibs one works really well for blush, for cream. This is made for cream. On this Dibs brush, this is made for powders. This side was made for cream. So a lot of brushes, if it's for cream, they're designed to be used on cream. So now I will do my eyebrows and my mascara, but that's it. Actually, I got their lip oil. I will try with you guys for the first time. In the shade Nude. I guess this is a new launch. So we can top it on top of the lip and cheek. Very hydrating. It's not sticky. And this will all come together once I have my brows on, but look at how glowy this is. You can spray the spritz on, like I said, throughout the day, or you can use a setting powder. But if you guys have any questions, message me. You can rewatch this video as many times as you would like, but you also might do a different routine. You might use different brushes. Everybody has their preference. Everybody is different. And I've already changed up how I apply it 2 or 3 times. So text me if you have any questions. And I hope you love this makeup as much as I do.